back and thanks for joining me. I'm Natalie, and today we're going over your sewing machine. So, in your workbook that I hope you have downloaded from SaturaFabrics.com, you will see a picture of a sewing machine with all the different parts listed. But today we're going to focus just quickly on the presser foot, the feed dogs, the bobbin, the hand wheel, because those are the words I'll be using the most frequently. In addition, with your sewing machine, you may have found a series of presser feet that came with your sewing machine. So there's a whole bunch of different styles, and we'll go over those in a separate video. So the machine itself, for today, for the tutorial, please remove all the threads that you may have on hand from the threads and threading video. Switch out the presser foot and put the original presser foot, which is your zigzag foot, the presser foot that came with your machine, on the machine. Remove the top thread as well so that your machine is set up with no thread top and bottom. When that's done, go ahead and put the cover back on your bobbin case and print off your sewing training cards. There are 5 of these, and they are a quick print off from your PDF. They're in your workbook. When you got these printed off, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to demonstrate to you how to sew 2 of them. So I'll work on the maze, which will teach you straight stitching and how to pivot to make perfect corners, and then we'll go into the swirl. Place the maze under your presser foot and lower the needle into the start circle. When you've got it set up and the line is going straight down the middle, go ahead and start sewing. Stitch until you reach the end of the first line, and as you get close to the end, start to slow down. Slow, 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 and then drop the needle down into the machine, lift the presser foot with the needle still down, and turn the paper 90 degrees. Continue stitching, and you'll do the same thing when you get to the next corner. So slow down, and drop the needle down, lift the presser foot, and pivot. This is how you make perfect 90-degree corners. So I had to make a little adjustment here, but keep stitching and keep your eyes on the line. When you've done that, go ahead and look through your papers. Like I said, there are 5 different cards. There's the wave and some pockets and stuff like that, and select the swirl pattern. So that's what you can practice sewing circles. Do the same thing and lower your needle. Begin stitching slowly, slowly, and start turning the paper as you sew. So we'll sew along the outermost edge of the swirl, and each time, every once in a while, it's going to you drop the needle down and then lift the presser foot just a little bit and slightly pivot your fabric. Just a slight pivot, but you have to make sure that the needle is down and you've got that line lined up to the middle portion of the presser foot. Otherwise, you'll come off the line. So just slowly, slowly keep stitching and lifting, and as you sew along, you're going to you only be able to look maybe like 1 inch ahead. Sometimes you'll be able to stitch 2 inches, 3 inches, but it gets hard, so you have to keep lifting and turning, lift and turn. Once you've got that done, just use your feather touch to continue to pivot the paper, and you'll work your way towards the center. Now, as you get closer to the center of the circle, you'll find that you may be able to take only 5 stitches, 6 stitches, and eventually you'll get down to the point where you can only take maybe 2 or 3 stitches at a time before you have to pivot again. This is why sewing circles takes patience and practice. So before we go ahead and make that pin cushion, which is our third project, I think it is, second project, sorry. Pin cushion is your second project. It's important to practice on paper because your pin cushion is actually made on fabric, and we'll be sewing in a circle several times. And I want to make sure that you've got good practice before we get to that pincushion project, which is novice project number 2. If you have not already downloaded your projects, go to our website and download them. In the next video, we'll talk about how to stitch things like buttonholes and buttons and how to do some decorative stitching. If you've liked today's video, please click the like button and subscribe. Thanks so much. I'm Natalie.